I don't really know where to start because I think autism is one of them things where everybody's journey is very different. I think my journey starts, I would say, as a mishap because I actually worked in television, cartoon television for about 5-6 years, and I did know Sherry Ann Dixon, but there's a lot of things that people don't realise that when they see the other side of you, because I was a camerawoman as well, so through my journey, before I had my children, everything I would say was perfect. But then when you obviously have the children, and you've got a partner who basically wants that perfect child, you start looking at yourself as a bad parent. But then on the outside, when I was obviously doing my filming, at home I was a very lonely person. So where I was giving my all and all, as Sherry explained, about having a mental condition, I didn't even know. So when you look back, I can say that my journey has been a roller coaster, which I try to explain to people, because everybody's journey with autism is very different. And I can say, Nathaniel now is 13, but even though at 13 now, I'm still going through my own trials. Because I would say, at the time when Sherry Ann Dixon actually called me, it was actually Leash. We created an organisation called Proud Parents of Autistic Children, and I would say that it was Sherry Ann Dixon that was the one that actually connected me to Leash, where we started to do our journey. Then through that, I would say Leash step back a bit because again, I don't talk about the MMR because, as I said, her son had MMR. My son had an MMR. My son is what they would say is high functional autistic. Her son had classic childhood autism. So, two different journeys, but we both went through the same struggles. She's from Sheffield, I live in London, but what she used to say was she'd get better support out of London. But I was going to move out of London to get that help for my son. So what I can say is there's a video in the back where the journey that I had, this was filmed in 2011, and to show you what my son was like at the age of 3, I can say what my son was like before he got diagnosed, so this is what it was like. If you've got a child in a buggy, the child looks okay. When the child is out of the buggy and he's just running everywhere like I would call like a canary, you know, like open up a cage, my son would be all over the place. He'd be under the chair, if like in a church service, he'd be jumping up and down. Sometimes he'd be, obviously, I don't like to say that word, he's going out now. He would actually attack me. Now, to me, people say that he was just a spoiled brat, so I was spoiling him. It was what's the word? It was a typical little boy. But from the black perspective, I was told I was just a bad parent. When it was in the white community, I was told that I needed to control my child. So no matter where I went, I was constantly getting criticised. But when you're in a TV environment, again, like I said, I work long hours. So I wouldn't see my son's milestones. So what I do is I look back at the person that was looking after my child. So anybody that is looking after a child that is showing any signs that looks like I would say like my son, I would say he was over-exaggerating with the behaviour. He never slept. When it came to eating, it was a hard thing. So when you're forcing him to eat, to me now looking back, it was more painful to him because he had obviously like sensory overload. So to me, when he's eating certain food, we would force him to eat things like, at the time I noticed he used to like rice, everything was rice. Imagine if you're my family are obviously from Guyana, so again, if you're trying to give him certain things and he would spit it out, it's a thing back in the West Indies, it's that same thing, back in the West Indies, you know, there's children out there starving. So to him, he was non-verbal. So if you've got a child that's non-verbal, he used to grunt. Again, I cut his hair too young. So is that myth? Because I cut his hair too young at the age of 2, that's why he wasn't talking. Then he stuck his thumb, put pepper on his fingers, he still wasn't talking. I wasn't doing it, this is what the family were doing. And no matter what I was doing, I became like a bubble. Everybody's telling me what to do with this child. I started listening. Same time in television, everywhere I went, everybody's just looking at me. You've got this good lifestyle, but why is your child that way? But what I've got to let me realise is Nathaniel was the middle child. So my first child I had no problems with. They called her like she was the beautiful child. Nathaniel, I would say he was lovely, but it was very difficult to control a child that everywhere I went, everybody started telling me how I was looking after my child to the point that it started affecting my career. I stepped back, I isolated myself, I started realising people saying things about me. And even though I was getting hurt, I still tried to push myself to stay in that place. I say to a lot of people, if you've got a child that's autism and you're trying to have a career, it's not going to work unless you've got the family around you. I'll say it here, and I don't care who goes back to my family. I don't have my family to support me. It's the church that actually helped me. It was unbelievers that got me back to where I was. Because when I was there believing what my friends and my family were telling me, behind my back, they were saying something totally different to my child. And I think when you listen to how Nathaniel is now, he actually told me, I used to notice that, imagine you've got a child that is resistant. He used to resist going certain places, and I couldn't even understand why he was doing that. And then when I look back, he actually told me certain people that were in my face were talking behind my back. Because he started talking at the age of just before his 6th birthday. So imagine you've got this child who's just letting out. And what people don't realise, again, as I said, I'm not sure how many people in here knows what autism is. Does anybody know? Yeah. So I can just talk. Okay, so as it's a social condition, and how I'll break it down when we're talking from a black perspective, we are known to be loud. We're known to be flamboyant. We're known to like entertainment. We like to know we look good. But imagine that you're playing loud music in a car. Nathaniel used to be in that car and people play the music and he'd be constantly moving his head like this. I didn't know that he had sensitive over the road. But you imagine going into a church and they're playing tambourines loud. And that tambourine was doing so much overload. So when you get out of the church, this child would be attacking me, kicking me, biting me. No matter what you were doing, people used to say to me, control your child. So I isolated myself. But once he got the diagnosis, I noticed I lost my friends and my family. Because when you're in an environment where people keep constantly telling you, stop accepting the label. I said, well, if a child is in a wheelchair, you can see, you will help that child. But because it's to do with the way of the mind, you automatically think it's a mental illness. No, it's a condition. So until we learn to understand what autism is for each individual child, then we can help that child. But I can say with my journey with Nathaniel has been where, as I said, I gave up my job in television, I gave up my filming career, I gave up everything. I used to work with celebrities, but to me, as I said to everybody, I had to put my children first. But even though I put my children first, I still was fighting the system, to the point that when Nathaniel now, at 6, until 6, he got diagnosed in 2008. I didn't get the help until 2011, and it was that video there at the back where a friend was filming, and what happened was Nathaniel used to actually attack his sister. I mean, if he looks back, he actually said there's lots of things that he can't remember. He used to bite her, he used to slap her up. Imagine if you go to social services, they don't see that. And what they're telling me is, well, there's no bruises. So I meant to go and report my son just because of what he's done, and he did it to the older sister. There was I've got videos, constant fighting, biting, constant not sleeping. So when I'm trying to get to school in the morning, it's why don't you get out of bed early? I got here late because with Nathaniel, how he is, that residential is, time doesn't mean nothing to him. If he's going somewhere he's not interested, he's not going. So I had to like pace myself. I had to explain it to him. I need to know it's important. So to the point when I got here, I'm glad in a way because he knows Precious. Again, it's something. If he identifies, he recognises somebody, and knows my partner, you find he would be at ease. But if he's not in an environment he's not aware of, you find that behaviour won't come out where he will be disruptive. He will stay outside the door. So my journey has been where I've had to keep on educating everybody, educating families, friends. Again, people don't realise that autism doesn't just stop at childhood. I know a lot of autistic adults who are going through a lot of challenges because when you've got an autistic woman that is being diagnosed with autism, people try to say that they've got mental illness. But again, they have to understand that if you're medicating somebody who's got autism, you're creating additional problems to that person because their needs are not being met. And like in 2000, this to show you how the black community is, and this is why it really irritates me, is that we complain that there's nothing out there. For 7 years, fighting for Nathaniel, I've been out there campaigning. I can say, as I said, Sherry Ann Dixon was the first person that gave me airtime. And through that journey, I've met so much people, but I get more support, I would say, from the white community than I do from the black community. It's embarrassing. Or I have to like push myself on Facebook to keep on saying, look, I'm having these events. One person didn't want to support me because they said, I have too many white speakers. I said, excuse me, you bring the black speakers to me, then I'll promote them. But even if you bring the black speakers, it's, oh, you're still accepting the label. So imagine that I'm at House of the Commons in 2014. 2014? And it was like, imagine you had 200 people at the House of the Commons for this launch of the National Society. And I looked in there, and the idea was to get a campaign to raise awareness for the Black Asian Minority Ethnic Group. Diane Abbott was the one that was actually launching it. And just to show you that everybody came, they took all their pictures, went all over Facebook, but when it actually came to the launch, do you know it took over a year to do this campaign? Only 130 people, the whole of the UK came forward. and there was only 20 were black people. I did three forums, and what I picked up on it was that people will come and talk to me, but they don't want to be part of the change. I can't do this on my own, because then I know lots of families that are coming to me whose sons are in prison, who've been diagnosed with autism. We don't hear about those. All we hear is the child's got social communication disorder, or the child's got dyslexia. So I always say to people, any child that is demonstrating negative behaviour, it's not always that it's autism. There's other hidden disabilities that a child may have. And we find that in the black community, no matter how much we try to speak to people, they don't want to listen to me. So I'm always constantly just out there, very direct and open, because I think with my son, he was very direct, he was very blunt. If he didn't like something, if somebody didn't look right in the face, he would tell me exactly about themselves. If they smelled, he'd tell me that they smelled. But he learned how to filter that. But then the problem I have now is with my, I mean, look at the video there. That's to show you what I used to go through when he was younger. He actually wanted to kill himself, because at school, people would tell him that he was naughty, and that word naughty. So imagine your child, when you start talking, you say, I'm naughty, I'm rude, I'm naughty, I'm rude. Again, I didn't understand. So when you're getting the diagnosis and you don't know what it is, you just get the diagnosis, you're left with this child. So when you're trying to tell your family, your friends, your church, your work colleagues, and then you say, oh, autism, Rain Man. No, my son is not Rain Man. My son's not Stephen Wiltshire. He doesn't like drawing. My son just likes to stay on the gaming, and you know gaming is not good, it's all the shooting games. So my son is a child that, when you see him, he says he's fine. Before he couldn't talk, before he would even express himself, now he actually says to me, like when I got here, the cab driver got on my nerves, he started texting me, that's his way of communicating. So he's telling me, Mummy, the driver's dumb, Mummy, the driver is stupid, Mummy, the driver's retarded. Now people think autistic people can't communicate, they will communicate in their way. But if he likes you, he will communicate with you. If he doesn't